Hey guys, it's Ryan with Big Dog Investing. Thank you guys for tuning into my channel. You guys could do a couple of things for me. If you guys go ahead and like, comment, subscribe to my channel if you guys have not done so already. Click the bell notification down below so that YouTube can send you guys notifications whenever I release videos. Watch my videos all the way to the end. If you guys could share my videos and share my channel with anyone. I'm trying to grow my channel as much as I can, and I definitely need your guys' help in doing so. Getting started today is going to be Sunday, February 26th. Just to get a little update on the giveaway, I did send the money over. I sent it as a USD coin, so I wanted to show you guys that I did send that. So let me just pull this up really quick. I'm going to block out the address, but I sent $38. If you guys look, fees were taken out, so I did let the person know, unfortunately, just with the fees. That's on them. And they were totally reasonable about that. They totally understood. So basically, I sent just a little over what 100 XRP tokens would be cost, and then I sent that over in USD C, which is the digital currency for US dollars right now. You guys can use like Tether and stuff like that also, but I prefer USD coin. In my opinion, I think that one's a little bit better. And they ended up tweeting about this too. So they did tweet and said, "Thank you. We received the giveaway," which shows that the transaction has been completed. So they received $36.48 in USD coin. So I wanted to make sure that you guys knew that I did send the money and I was transparent. I'm still totally unsure if this person is there, and I did let them know that, but I did let them know that I would be letting you guys know that they did receive the giveaway. They did win. Um, and I appreciate all of their help. And I appreciate all of you guys in the journey that we've been on so far. So moving on though, we will be doing another giveaway at 500 subscribers. I will let you guys know which cryptocurrency I'm going to be doing from there. And at 500 subscribers, I'm going to do. Uh, I'm going to give away five winners. So each one would get um, 100 of some token, or I'll figure out how I'm going to officially do it. But, I'm going to do five winners for the 500 subscribers. So it's not just one person getting all of it. And it will also spread the wealth too. So hopefully, more people will follow my channel, more people will be interested. And I hope you guys aren't just here for the giveaways. I'm here to help you guys. Again, no financial advice, but I try to give you guys the news that are affecting the financial markets. But getting started with today, the total market cap is going to be $1,072,000,000,000. This is a 1.22% increase on the day. We have a lot of news to cover for the past 2 days. I've just been super busy, so videos have been coming out every 2 days. And plan accordingly. I think that's how it's going to be for right now. As stuff keeps on going on in my life, it's been a little bit harder for me to create videos every single day. I'm hoping that I will be able to. I've just been super busy at work and super busy planning a wedding. So hopefully I will have time to do videos every single day. But as of right now, it's going to be, probably once every 2 days. So Bitcoin right now is currently trading at $23,421. So we talked about how this was going to play out. If we look at the 7 day, we'll go back to the 24th, where I said Bitcoin was probably going to, stay around the 23 to 24,000. I said if we do drop below, which I think we would come back up. So we did drop below. We dropped down to, let's see, $22,861, and this was yesterday. And then immediately we did retrace back up to 23,000, and then we did have a nice jump up today. We did reach about $23,648, and now we're just shy of $200 of that, about 220. But I do see us still staying here as of right now. Again, the good date to look out for is going to be March um, 14th for the CPI report. Ethereum is trading at $1,636, and then XRP is trading at 37.61 cents. The biggest gainers on the day, Stacks is going to be the biggest at 26.5%. Hex is going to be the next at 14%, and Neo at 8.6%. But since we were in a positive day today at 1.22%, the majority of coins are going to be green. I would probably say about 65 35, 65 in the green, and then 35 in the red. But getting into our news, we have a lot of stuff that happened, and I want to go over it with you guys. We're going to hit the Watcher Guru news first, but then we're going to get into some political stuff that's going to definitely impact the financial markets. So this one was kind of interesting. I actually read this before I saw this on Watcher Guru. This actually hit the mainstream media. If you guys pay attention to that type of news, you guys might have saw this also. But Massachusetts man charged with fraudulent electricity use after illegally installing crypto mining rigs in a middle school. So one of the teachers at the school actually built a, I guess, a mining operation in one of the attics at the school. And during one of the building inspections, they ended up finding it. And then what happened was they tried to figure out who it was, and then they did a investigation, found out that it was one of the teachers. That teacher was charged and then was told to appear in court and then disappeared. So they didn't show up for their court hearing. So I don't know anything more other than that, but they had a bunch of rigs, and this is definitely bad because you're stealing taxpayer money and stuff like that because it uses electricity to fund that. And taxpayers do pay for the schools because it was like, oh, you know what, maybe I could do that technically, but it's definitely stealing and stuff like that. So we don't want to be doing fraudulent and illegal activity, especially because we want crypto to stay. So this was really a bad look for the crypto industry. But he did get caught. He is charged, and I definitely, he definitely deserves to pay back the money to electricity plus a fine too on top of it to prevent other people and discourage other people from doing this. But I thought it was really interesting just because I'm a teacher. That is kind of related because I'm a teacher. I'm into cryptocurrency. I don't mine any cryptocurrency right now. I want to get into it possibly over summer. But it was just really interesting, and I wanted to share that. Buying Bitcoin was at 30 cents in 2010. It did get a little lower in 2011. I think you could get it for like a quarter when I was a senior in high school. But that was really interesting. I mean, imagine buying at 30 cents and then, right now it's $23,000. Turning 30 cents into 23,000 per coin is ridiculous. Top cryptocurrency by market cap, excluding stable coins. These are those. I'm not going to go over them. This one was really interesting. So, Treasury Secretary says the U.S. has no plans to ban crypto, but will implement strong regulatory framework. And I agree with this. It's really hard to ban cryptocurrency, especially nationwide, because everyone's been using it for a while, and they were using it on the Silk Road for a little bit until the Silk Road got shut down. And then now there's different browsers you guys can use to get onto that. But this is really interesting because it's impossible to do it. So they need to come up with some regulatory framework. It's just really hilarious to me, though, that they still haven't come out with any type of framework, and the SEC keeps ruling by enforcement, which we'll get into in a little bit. Gen Z and millennials need $3 million to retire for savings to live comfortably due to inflation. This is WealthCare Financial Reports. And this is really interesting because I'm going to need $3 million to retire. I don't even know if I fall in the millennial you know, age range. I don't really know. I'm 30 years old. We'll see what happens. But it's just really interesting to see that, $3 million to have in my bank account. Based on my salary, it would take me quite some time to reach $3 million, let alone to have that in my savings account, not including expenses. That's just ridiculous. Um, and this is what, I try to share news with you guys for financial freedom and stuff like that. So, again, no financial advice, but you guys need to take some risks in life and, maybe get lucky every once in a while. Justin Solana launches investigation to determine the root cause of its network outage yesterday. There's no report yet what caused the network outage. But Solana's had a lot of issues with outages, and it's really interesting. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. Rapper Drake lost $400,000 in Bitcoin after losing a bet on YouTuber Jake Paul's boxing match. Um, and this is really cool, like, because now we can bet using cryptocurrency. If you guys do bet, remember, gamble responsibly. But this was really interesting that he used Bitcoin. Unfortunately, he did lose, and I was surprised that Jake Paul did lose that, but it is what it is. He's probably going to want a rematch or something. But getting into some political stuff that happened, especially because I live here in Arizona, it says right here that explosive testimony today at the Senate elections and House oversight hearings by this Jackie Berger, outlining complex investigation into political corruption in AZ. At Katie Hobbs and her husband are laundering cartel money through fake deeds and mortgages. This is really crazy. It's 42 minutes. And I would definitely watch the entire 42 minutes, the exchange. I watched it a few times to pick up on the clues that they were talking about. But it's really interesting that a lot of the questions that were asked by the panel was, how did you know this? How come you haven't given this to the attorney general? What political affiliation are you with? Like, why are you asking what political affiliation they're with? It's news that they're reporting on. Obviously, this needs to be investigated and see if it's credible and stuff like that. But as of right now, it seems like this is pretty credible evidence. I did attend the U of A versus ASU basketball game. Unfortunately, ASU did lose, or ASU did win over U of A. I'm a huge U of A fan, but I'm sitting, here. I'm at the game. But before the game started, they showed that Katie Hobbs was down courtside, and everyone's cheering for her. Yeah, 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 let's go. And I'm just thinking, like, you know what? This is like literally what college campuses are now. College campuses are indoctrinating our citizens and the students into believing a bunch of different things instead of coming up with their own opinions on things. And that's what I try to do in my daily life, is not push my agendas on people, but basically open people's eyes. So I definitely would recommend you guys watching this entire 42-minute clip if you guys are into politics, because this is really interesting and it plays into a role. So Ryan Freer, he's a founder for Students for Trump, executive director, comes out and says, so it just came out that Katie Cobbs, the governor of Arizona, accepted bribes from the Sinaloa cartel. Where's the FBI and the DOJ? This stuff does need to be investigated. Carrie Lake posted, election case update. We will be filing our case with the AZ Supreme Court by Tuesday, 2/28, which would be in 2 days, and we'll be asking for an expedited review. As soon as the filings are available, I'll share them with you. Please pray for justice. Because I do believe that she actually did win the governor's race, and the election, in my opinion, was rigged. I can have my own opinion on things, just like you guys can. So if you guys disagree, put it in the comments. I want to hear from you guys, what you guys think. This one was really interesting. Digital Perspective says, I'm all for a better, cleaner world, but these points are irrefutable. And in this guy is talking about how, right now, the politicians right now are talking about, we need to spend money on the Green New Deal and everything else like that. But the one easiest for clean energy is nuclear, very cost effective, very clean energy. As long as we can just maintain safety protocols, we would never have a Chernobyl incident. I'm an environmental science teacher, and I completely agree. If we really want clean energy, nuclear energy is the way to go. So we need to start building more nuclear power plants. But obviously, that's not what we want. We still want to keep on building these batteries that cost a bunch of money and tear up the world, and use a lot more resources than are good, because everyone says, oh, Teslas are so great, but how do you charge a Tesla? You plug it into your house outlet. The outlet at your house uses electricity that you get from the um, SRP or whatever electric company you guys have, and then they use coal to create their electricity. So in my opinion, you're basically just using one fossil fuel for another. You're not using gasoline, but you're using coal as a fossil fuel rather than a renewable energy. We need to solve that problem before we start pushing electric vehicles and stuff on everyone. This one was really cool, though. In my opinion, Justin Trudeau, he's the Prime Minister of Canada, a Toronto event marking the 1 year anniversary. Everyone's saying fuck Trudeau, and everything he's coming out with, saying how Canada is really there for Ukraine and everything else like that. This one was really surprising, especially for SNL. Not all heroes wear capes. Harrelson goes hard, and goes after pharma, lockdowns, vax mandates. So he basically comes out and says, hey, I had a really good idea for a script. It's, where these big drug manufacturers basically act as cartels. And what they do is they compile everything up, then they, market um, the specific disease that's out there, and that, you guys get locked down and you guys get put into your houses. And to get out of the houses, you guys have to take these drugs, and these drugs will allow you to go out in public. But the thing is the drug, keeps on adapting, and you have to keep on taking another shot and another shot and another shot. But then I decided to scrap that, because who on earth would believe that? But that's basically what happened when we went into our lockdowns with COVID 19. So it's really interesting. And the US Energy Department concludes that COVID 19 likely arose from the laboratory leak in Wuhan Lab, China. Um, and this is really interesting, especially for the U.S. Energy Department to conclude this. They couldn't say with 100% certainty, and that's fine. With beyond a reasonable doubt is where I needed, and it seems like that's where it's at. Dr. Fauci funded gain of function research at Wuhan lab, lied to Congress about it, and now both the FBI and Department of Energy have concluded that the coronavirus originated from the Wuhan labs. Does that mean Dr. Fauci funded the development of COVID 19? And in my opinion, he did. I do believe that he needs to go in front of Congress and do another testimony. And he, in my opinion, needs to probably serve jail time. Honestly, if this is true, he needs a fair trial, because I'm not, there to say, you're guilty until proven innocent. But with all the evidence that's accumulating, it's not looking good for him. He needs to have a fair trial, and he needs to be put on trial, because a lot of people died from coronavirus. And a lot of people are getting sick from having to get these vaccines and everything else like that. These are things that you guys need to just open up your guys' eyes and do some research, because this affected our financial markets. And these are going to keep on affecting our financial markets. So, like, a lot of this stuff that I'm talking about, I'm not talking to get political about things. I'm talking because they destroyed our economy. They're putting pain on the American people. And now what they're doing is they're finally getting caught on things, and now what they're doing is they're trying to hide and shelter themselves and basically deflect. This one was really interesting right here, because this was my big thing right here. This is Wolinensky. She's the director of the CDC. But pregnant women are told not to eat sushi or deli meat and avoid caffeine. But a new experimental mRNA shot with zero long term clinical trial data was touted as safe and effective, an indefeasible breach of medical ethics by the CDC director. It's time to resign. And I 100% agree with this. They're saying that pregnant women should be taking this shot. Like, we're not, if women are pregnant, they're supposed to not eat sushi, deli meat, avoid caffeine, not go on roller coasters. There's a bunch of things that women are not supposed to do while they're pregnant, but yet she's toting like this vaccine's 100% safe and everything else like that. And the creator of the mRNA vaccines, not for the COVID shot, but the mRNA vaccine itself, was told that this should never be used, and there's a lot of side effects that could happen, and we're seeing that right now. This one was really interesting. It says, watch this clip again. Not a single one of the Secret Service reacts to the air raid sirens. This is how you know that it's 100% staged. CNN was here, and if you guys know, CNN's a huge liberal network. They said that they were there 5 days prior to Biden's arrival, and they said that they never heard one air raid siren until Biden came out and went into the center of the city. And they said that that was kind of fishy. And, in my opinion, this is 100% staged. You guys can disagree, put it in the comments. Um, this one right here from Joshua Jake. Biden has zero plans to visit East Palestine, Ohio. This is where the train derailment happened, that caused a huge toxic spill that's affecting their water supply and everything else like that. He makes a little joke right here. They should change their name to East Ukraine. Then you'd actually get some support, in my opinion. I think that's just hilarious. It's a funny joke. Nancy Pelosi gets heckled in San Francisco over giving billions of dollars to Ukraine. And this is our taxpayer money. This is why we talk about these things. We're giving out billions and billions and billions of dollars to other countries. And Ukraine right now, fighting a war that we have no part in being in my opinion. You guys can disagree with me, but we're, in a huge economic crisis right now. People are struggling to pay their rent, pay their mortgages, struggling with food prices, gasoline, car payments, whatever you guys are struggling with. And what is our U.S. Government doing right now? We're sending sending a bunch of money and support to other countries for wars right now. And in my opinion, that's a total breach of U.S. trust and a total. It's irresponsible to use our U.S. taxpayer dollars when the American people are struggling for that. And then they also talked about in the video, hey, give us some stock tips and everything else like that, because there is a bill right now that's being floated through Congress right now to basically ban anyone in Congress or their partners, so their significant others, husbands and wives from buying and selling stocks. And they're not allowed to hold stocks while they're in office. And I 100% agree with that. John Deaton says it's a very important issue, and I believe that this is the end for Gary Gensler if it is properly investigated. Sequoia was the top investor in FTX, and Sam Bankman-Fried have had $200 million in Sequoia's funds. Ask yourself why these folks have so much access to Gensler. And in my opinion, this is really, 100% true. We're not doing proper investigations on these politicians and anyone else in government right now that's doing a lot of this stuff. Moving on though, because we don't have a lot of time, my videos time out after 30 minutes. Um, Breaking, there will be no Sony and HBAR partnership or council member coming soon. It has been confirmed via Twitter Spaces that Hedera followed Sony by accident, hopefully one day though. And I 100% agree. I did talk about this, so I want to be 100% transparent that since this did get confirmed that this was not going to happen as of right now, I wanted to show that because some of you guys might have bought into H bar. Some of you guys might be wondering, should I still get into H bar? Are they really going to partner with Sony? I'm going to be transparent. They're not going to be partnering with Sony right now, but hopefully in the future that they might. But Hedera right here says health and safety standards in industry are crucially important. Some things never change. We at Hedera understand the need to provide a consistently functional, optimally secure, and proactively fair technology. Stay safe out there. We will always have open arms. Especially this kind of like a crack at Solana, in my opinion, because Solana keeps having these outages. So uptime first, days since our last network outage, 935 days. So this is just like, in my opinion, just a joke and a stab at Solana network and everything else like that. But in my opinion, though, Hedera is a great network, and if you guys get in the HBAR token, especially at the prices right now, if you guys are holding long term, again, no financial advice, this is a good investment, in my opinion. Chair Gensler may have prejudged that every digital asset aside from Bitcoin is a security, but his opinion is not law. The SEC lacks authority to regulate any of them until and unless it proves the cases in court for each asset, every single one individually, one at a time. In my opinion, this is true. For those of you guys that don't know, Gensler ended up appearing on a network. And during that network hearing, he came out and said that every asset right now besides Bitcoin could be technically a security. Um, but in my opinion, he has no authority to be saying that unless it's been written down in law. He's supposed to enforce the laws, not supposed to giving his opinion on things. And right now, again, ruling by enforcement, and coming out and saying that Bitcoin's number one. You have a bunch of Bitcoin maxis that are saying Bitcoin's the answer, Bitcoin's the only one. And in my opinion, that just brings fear, uncertainty, and doubt into markets. And he's supposed to be here to protect consumers with their investments. And as of right now, the only thing that he has done so far is destroy investor confidence and destroy the investments that people have put money into. This one right here, I had no idea this rug pull was so big. I'm learning a lot of XRP holders were harmed. We should stand strong together to help every XRP holder who is harmed be heard. It says right here, The Guardian wrote an article about Phoenix Fire. Never forget, it was a Ponzi scheme that got scammed at the XRP community and ruined a lot of good people's lives. So, crypto firm with links to parliamentary groups appears to have vanished. Apparently, disappearance of the Phoenix community capital leaves some investors fearing that they have lost large sums of money. And in my opinion, if they're in with parliamentary, this is just the governments right now that are basically taking advantage of consumers, and shows how crooked and corrupt a lot of politicians are. Right here, this one was interesting from Genevieve. I read Warren Buffett's 2023 letter to Berkshire Hathaway shareholders. Here are some of my top takeaways. And she goes through a bunch, and I'm not going to go through and read every single one. I will be posting this along with everything in the comments for you guys to read. But these are some good takeaways, and they're very interesting, and I highly encourage you guys to read this. Obviously, if you guys don't know who Warren Buffett is, he has a bunch of money. He's been investing since he was super young. One of the world's richest individuals, and in my opinion, he has some good advice. Again, he comes from old money. Well, like, not old money. He, basically created his entire worth. He didn't, inherit any of his money. But what I mean by old money is he has old, investment tactics, but they've been proving him right for so long. And in my opinion, there are a lot of takeaways that can come from this. Moving on, though, right here, you can track gold by tokenizing it on the XRP ledger and creating a token such as A or XAU, like companies have been doing for the past decade, but you can't back XRP itself by gold. And I 100% agree with this. This guy is the former director of Ripple Relations, confirms in the recent tweet XRP cannot be backed by gold. So a lot of people are saying that XRP is going to take over the gold standard, and this is really interesting because obviously right here a senior director who is a former director of Ripple right now basically said that this cannot happen. Moving on, though, James K. Filan comes out and says, for your information from Politico, crypto firms brace for carpet bombing moment in the U.S. as Europe beckons. I would definitely read this. So you guys should definitely, there's a lot of good information in here. I don't have time to go over it right now because we're running out of time. But the last thing I wanted to cover right here from Stuart Alderati, he's the chief legal officer for Ripple. He's the general counsel for the Ripple versus the SEC case right now. But he comes out and says, from the light bulb to lasers and from semiconductors to supercomputers, America's always been a nation of innovation, entrepreneurship, and innovation. Um, U.S. Century of Commerce on the CHIPS Act vision to reclaim America's technology leadership. Don't forget Subtitle H. Subtitle H for blockchain specialist, establishment of blockchain and crypto specialist position with OSTP. And this is really interesting because right now, you know, US is lacking super behind right now with technological advances to other countries, especially like China and Japan. Far more technology superior than us as of right now, besides our military. Um, and we're hiding a lot of different things, and for us to suppress our entrepreneurship in the United States, for invention and innovation, it just blows my mind and boggles me. Why don't we want that support? Why don't we want individuals to succeed, companies to thrive? We want more companies. We don't want less. We want more Americans working. We want more money for the US dollar to, keep a strong basis for it. And in my opinion, right now, a lot of these rules and enforcements on cryptocurrency, especially because people don't understand what blockchain technology is and how many problems it can actually solve, and be super transparent. And in my opinion, that's the reason why they don't want transparency. The government does not. So it's interesting. It's going to be interesting to see what happens in the near future with that, especially as a lot of these lawsuits and investigations come out. Um, but I wanted to leave that there, especially because it wanted you guys to get a takeaway from this and show that America has always been and hopefully will continue to be a nation for entrepreneurship. We'll leave it here, though. If you guys can't invest with a big dog, stay on the porch. Thank you guys for your guys' support, and see you guys on the next video. Have a good one.